Hi, welcome to Here's Out. I'm Paul,
And I'm Patrick.
and we're going to be doing the next episode of the Tourney. The Tourney.
The Tourney returns. The Tourney returns is actually harder for me to say with my...
That's a bit of a tongue twister, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
And as in this round, we have two absolute outside crazy films compared to a lot of the rest of them. And I love it. I absolutely love it. It is Birdman versus...
The Artist.
which are exceptional films in their own ways outside of all this. Everybody knows a little bit about them both. I don't think we were expecting it to be as, I wouldn't say easy, but we didn't expect to find as much commonality between the two films.
Yeah, no, there's a couple of great kind of grouped themes together that kind of go...
Yeah,
I guess
flick
go
flack
over the
between them.
cross.
Yeah.
So,
do you want me to... Which film would you like to start with?
well, I think Birdman was the one on the top
Okay,
list, so we'll go through
that's
Birdman
fair.
first, briefly, yeah.
Okay, so Birdman, in 90 seconds or less for me, Birdman is an amazing film that can really be summed up by its, what do you call them? Addendum title, the additional words in its title.
Yeah, I don't know, prefix title?
Yeah,
or,
it's
not
the
prefix.
unexpected virtue of ignorance. And as a film, you're watching it not knowing things. You're not knowing if what you saw was real. It was intended to be an actual real world happening or in somebody's mind, or is some sort of fantastical creative license. And the whole way through, not knowing that made me appreciate ignorance, because it really was. I was so happy, not trying to work it out, enjoying it as it went along, knowing I'm going to be thinking about this film for a long time.
Yeah. I thought very similar things, but I really enjoyed the production value of it. It was very
Incredible.
good. Some of the shots that they've done, the one takes and stuff was fantastic. Which had the lighting was very, very good. Acting was all fantastic. The subject matter was interesting because it has depth.
Oh yeah,
You know,
many
so-
layers. It is more layers than a layered thing. You said,
Then
look at my
then
eye.
then I was going to say, were you going to say bloomin' onion again?
Oh yeah, I've already used bloomin' onion once. More layers than a layer cake.
Ooh.
Write your answers in as to what else might have layers. So if I ever say that again, I'll have options.
What food has many layers that we can use as you know?
I'm going to be talking about tacos next. All right, the
Artist.
other film. So do you want to go first with your
Yeah.
thoughts on The Artist?
It's a very good homage to classical kind of like silent films. It's a black and white film, silent. So it's a very good homage to those kind of things. Very well done. The perspectives and stuff like that, and some of the shots are very cool. Yeah, like it's just over, like, you know, expressive acting done by all of them, which is very good. The cast is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like the dog.
and don't forget the dog,
The dog
which is
good.
not a gimmick, not a throwaway gimmick. I thought they used the dog very well.
No, it's very good. Like it's interesting to see, you know, an actual kind of, not, as I said, movies haven't done this before, or have not done this before, which with
Modern movies have
anime character, or animal characters, not anime characters, animal characters kind of things. But this was kind of different because the dog didn't really have a voice or any kind of thing, so it was always done with action, once again, over expressive action from a dog,
which is great, because the dog not having a voice is a wonderful analog for everybody else in the film not having a voice, because it's a silent movie. That's just, it makes it work. Even again, it makes it work on other layers, like a taco.
There we go.
Sticking with the layer thing today. So there you go. Like we both obviously love both these films. We really enjoyed them.
Yeah.
Funny thing is, I had seen Birdman, but had not seen The Artist. I had I wouldn't say prejudices, but I had my preconceived notions about The Artist, having not seen it and only heard things about it. And Birdman, I remember going to the cinema, coming out thinking, this is one of the most fabulous things I've ever seen, and I love it. And the three people that had come to the cinema with me looked at me and went, that thing was terrible. What the hell are you talking about?
Yeah, which is...
I know it says more about them than me. You know who you are. But no, I think it is one of those films that can maybe be off-putting for some people. But I think if you enjoy it, maybe it's not quite Marmite, but it's one of those things, if you enjoy it, you really love it.
Yeah, like I think what you were saying about how your mood, or, you know, if you're not in the right state of mind to watch that kind of film, it could cause, you know, flack.
You do need a little bit of patience with it, because it is taking you the long journey, and it's exhausting. We should probably get into the clash between the two films now.
Well, like I enjoyed I enjoyed Birdman because of, like, you know, did I say all this before? I did. Yeah.
That you enjoyed Birdman. I don't know what you're about to say.
I was going to say I enjoyed Birdman just because of the layers to it.
Okay. Well,
Which
layers is our theme.
Yeah, it does seem like it.
But in all fairness, if you're looking at the two films, The Artist is an easier watch for everybody.
Yeah,
Definitely.
it is. It holds like, you know, only a very few themes to it, or like plot lines to it. So like, you know, it's a very kind of more streamlined storyline.
It has a traditional progression too.
Yeah, like I think if we're gonna go for the layers thing,
Yes, let's go to those layers.
I think because we're gonna go to the comparison kind of part then,
Yeah.
where it's just so if we were to do it, the storyline in Birdman is very complex,
Very.
and everything around it is kind of born from that complexity.
Yes, and the unknowing. It's there's no defined line because half the time you're like, am I meant to think that was real or not real?
Yeah, I was sorry, I was more about production value. I
Oh,
should have said
okay,
that.
sorry,
As in, like,
sorry.
you know, the production stuff around us is very striped from the storyline and stuff like
Yeah.
that. You know, whereas because Artist is essentially a very streamlined thing, all the things around it and production value has to be even better.
I would,
You know?
I would almost say, I thought you were about to say, because of the nature of what The Artist is, and it's not its gimmick, but because it's a silent movie, its production and its style is a part of the story, very much so.
So-
Which is clever and a lovely layer.
So that's what, yeah,
mean-
all layers.
But to be fair, if you're looking at even just from a production point of view, I think acting in Birdman is just off the scale great for so many people. Zach Galifianakis, you mentioned when we talked about this, you know,
it's always weird to see him in a movie because he's always generally weird, and I've seen him in this.
it was a different story, wasn't he? He was great. Ed Norton was very Ed Norton about it all, but was still great. But Michael Keaton was just terrific.
It's the scene that really kind of sold me with the Ed Norton, Michael Keaton kind of like paradigm was the fact when they first meet.
Oh yes, yeah.
And that's a great paradigm because he's like you see Michael Keaton's character interact with some of the actors that are in the play beforehand,
Yes,
and it's
yeah,
just
they're at the
not
table.
it's not biting or anything like that. Whereas when he does it with Ed Norton, it gets better and better and better, and he's just like, this is what we need. And then having the second part to that with the gin,
Yeah.
and you're just like, oh, okay, this really, because you were just like, Ed Norton's character seems like, you know, he's an actor. He
just seems really
passionate.
good. Yeah.
Yeah, like he's a passionate person from the thing, because he's just like, let's just do it now, you know, kind of thing. And then to see him in the preview thing where he's like a chumped up child kind of thing,
And that's a theme that goes away and comes back again multiple times for his character. I think as well, if you just want to take to kind of give Birdman its final run on, if I was to say comparing Birdman and The Artist, what has Birdman got that no other film has? It's those really long shots. Now, they're not all continuous as they look. There's some very, very clever editing. That brings you into it as a physical person. You're there physically floating along through this story. But because you're also hearing somebody's internal monologue, or they're, you know, a character talking to them in their head, whatever it might be, you're also inside somebody's head for part of it. It's a very surreal experience. And tie that to the jazz drum soundtrack that comes in and fades away. I find it a singular experience. I travelled through Birdman as well as watching it, and I felt all of that. The Artist, I really enjoyed as a movie all the way through, and I really enjoyed the love story. But it's clever use of filmmaking where touches, not the whole thing.
No, I would like, so when you were saying that, you know, you get to be with Birdman, be in the inside of Birdman, get to hear his voice and stuff, get to hear what his thoughts. It's interesting because it's all external in The Artist.
Yes.
You never get, and the only times that you get kind of insight is when the character is alone. But it's all expressive, like acting. It's never, you know, you get to hear their thought process or anything like that. Whereas in Birdman, there's several moments that you get to see the internal monologue of this character having conversations.
The argument with themselves. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I guess that's a more crowning kind of moment towards. Well, I guess it's harder to do in a silent film, but it's still a really, really interesting part because it gives you a little bit more in-depth kind of in-depth insight to the character. And we didn't discuss this yet, but I actually feel, because I think we're leaning more towards Birdman together.
We're probably leaning towards Birdman, I'd say.
I didn't realize this before, but the character complexity within Birdman is a lot more than it is in, or we haven't discussed it, is a lot more in Birdman than it is in The Artist, which I think I've become a lot more favorable to.
I understand, yeah, and I'd agree with that. I think it's an important distinction between them.
Yeah, like I think Birdman is really, really well done, really nice, really complex and really insightful. But Artist, it's more about, this is a silent movie. We can still do these really, really well. It's fantastic, but it's an homage to the past.
We're telling you a love story, and it's a love story to theater or to silent movie almost at one stage too, and then invent the tap film.
Yeah. No, the tap scene's really interesting because we've gone through now with Birdman. We've gone through Michael Keaton's character is a movie star, and he's moved to plays, whereas George Valentine is a silent movie actor. He won't move to talkies.
Yes.
Did you feel like there was some kind of deeper thing to it? Like he was like
it was his hubris. It was his absolute belief and confidence in itself until you get to the point where they start scratching a little more, and you're like, oh no, it's fear. Is it a confidence thing that he doesn't feel like he can speak? I think there was definitely implications of that. I wouldn't say there was definitely a part of the film that proves that, but I picked up that feeling by the end of it too.
I think if I could put a finger on one of the scenes, it would be when he's talking to when he's looking at the men's furnishings store, and the cop comes and starts talking to him a lot, and then he like kind of runs off, but he has like, you see like visions of people's mouths flapping and stuff like that, and he gets more and more sweaty and stuff. And
when he's not on stage, it's made very, very clear. They don't show him speaking very, very often at all. He isn't doing that. And his nightmare sequence, which when we talked about this before filming, the nightmare sequence is
that sound editing is fantastic. It's so subtle, so well done, and in such a good kind of procedural way. So it's like, so in the film it has a moment where you're discovering the emergence of talkies, the movies with sound, and the character like laughs it off and goes into his dressing room as far as you can see, and there's a moment that he puts a glass down and you hear the glass drop, like or you hear it hit the table, and
the fact that you get that, but then watching him get that.
Yeah, which is very, and then like, sounds that are normally in movies with sounds start flowing in and getting like, more and more, which goes obvious and louder and everything.
And finally, Foley artists were going to be sitting watching a film somewhere going, yay, finally our art is being recognised.
Whereas beforehand, it's all music. It's all music with the title, the title scene.
The cards, yeah.
So like, it's an interesting kind of sound bite.
And actually, just because I want to geek out over the one other moment where they did that at the very first time in the film, that they give you a hint that this is going to be one of their features, that your vision and sound might be disconnected and reconnected at different times, is in the opening section of the film, the first 2 or 3 minutes. They're behind a cinema screen. A crowd has been watching his film. The film ends. You see him listening to see if people are going to clap, and then make the gesture of yes, which in all of our minds, all of the viewers were like, they're clapping. But that absolute absence of sound, and then a camera showing people clapping, is one of the most wonderfully mentally jarring moments that you're like, this film is really going to do well with sound.
Yeah, like
I was on board from that moment. I was like, film, you got me.
Like it's very good because you get to see John Goodman in the background kind of going, oh no, like he puts his hand at his head, and then having which goes George Valentine kind of it's such a good thing because it does really tell you how this is going to go.
So for people that have just gone ahead and said that we think we're going to give it to Birdman, we've spent a few minutes talking about how great The Artist is. Well, so that's quite the compliment to The Artist.
Yeah, I don't once again, the Tourney's not about us just choosing the best film. It's more just what film entertained us, what did we see and stuff. So as we know from Hearsays, it's our opinion.
Yes, and we'd love to hear your opinion. If you want to get in there and say that we've just chosen the wrong film, please do. We won't be able to go back and change the graphics. No. So as you can see, this graphic is done. That means that
Yeah,
Birdman's just gone through.
Birdman's going through,
and it's going through against Argo.
So that's going to be an interesting one.
That is going to be interesting. That's going to be very, very interesting.
You know,
I don't want to say too much because you're going to have to tune in for that semi-final to see what happens.
I'm not going to say anything.
No, but right now, I feel sorry for the artist, but I'd like to say thank you for surprising the hell out of me.
Oh yeah, no. The one thing that I like to take from doing the Tourney is the fact is that I'm now watching these films that I haven't seen a lot of.
Yeah.
And it's just making me more. So the Oscars that are coming up as well in 2019, February 25th.
Yes, in a few weeks' time.
I think I'm going to go try and watch all of the...
Make sure you don't miss anything in the set. Yeah.
I'm going to, I know we have a moment where we choose our nominations and stuff like that, but it's more from reading about the films and stuff like that. I'm going to go actually experience them.
Yeah. So congratulations to Birdman. Commiserations to the silent artist. I hope somewhere right now that dog is not making sad face because I love that dog. I love you.
It's doing that thing where it puts its
head down. And you have my heart, Doug. You have my heart. So, all right. Well, I've been Patrick.
I've been Paul.
And this is... Did I just get us out of this a little quick? You were about to say something. Sorry. Next time, you're going to be seeing us finish out the quarterfinal stages and finding out what goes into that final slot up against the King's Speech.
Yeah.
So check that video out. It should be in your playlist right now. So,
like and subscribe, share us around the place, get onto Twitter, get onto that Facebook, the Facebook, so that you can share the Tourney.
Absolutely. And share. And if anybody wants to meme the hell out of that, I will very, very, very happily share it around.
I'm really happy that I got Zach Galifianakis' name correctly since I've had such a problem with Taika Waititi. See?
You got so close that time
Taika Waititi.
I'm sorry that I can't. I can say Zach Galifianakis' name, but if you go back and watch us do anything about the Oscars, there's a bunch of people in Roma that I have to send apology letters to. All right, next time, I guess.
Yeah, we've been Hear Us Out.
I've been Patrick.
And I've been Paul. We're doing that again.
And I waved.
See you later, guys.
Bye.